Welcome to my channel. Try to hear the latest story.
My name is Daryl, 35 years old and proud father of my 8-year-old son Tyler. 3 years after losing my wife to cancer, I was determined to make Tyler's first Little League game special. I invited our entire extended family, spent hundreds on customized jerseys, prepared homemade snacks, and even paid for the team banner featuring Tyler's name prominently. The excitement in my son's eyes that morning was everything to me. Little did I know that the empty chairs I'd set up would teach us both what family truly means. Before I continue this story, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I promise, what happened next changed our lives forever. I work in tech, a software developer position that thankfully allows me to work remotely. This flexibility became crucial after Jessica, my wife, passed away from aggressive breast cancer. The diagnosis came just 2 months after Tyler turned 5, and within a year, she was gone. Our world shattered, but somehow, Tyler and I found ways to rebuild it, piece by painful piece. Just the two of us in our 3-bedroom home that suddenly felt too big, too empty. Tyler is a resilient kid, smarter than I was at his age, with Jessica's warm brown eyes and her determined spirit. But losing a mother at such a young age leaves wounds that take years to heal. The first year after Jessica died, Tyler had nightmares almost every night. He would crawl into my bed, clutching the stuffed dinosaur his mom had given him, asking questions I wasn't prepared to answer. "When is Mommy coming back?" he would ask during those first months. "Does Mommy still love me even though she's in heaven? Why did she have to go away?" Each question was a knife to my heart. How do you explain death to a kindergartner? How do you help them understand something you can barely comprehend yourself? I did my best, but there were many nights when I waited until Tyler fell back asleep before quietly sobbing into my pillow. My extended family, my parents, Thomas and Linda, and my younger sister Amanda with her twin boys live within 30 minutes of us. I had always imagined they would be our support system during this unimaginable time. But the reality proved quite different. You see, in our family, I had always been the responsible one. Even before Jessica passed, I was the person everyone called when they needed financial help. My sister Amanda, 32, had never quite figured out how to live within her means. Despite marrying into money, her husband Brian works in investment banking. She constantly overspent and found herself in financial troubles. Amanda drives a new luxury SUV every 2 years. Her twin boys, Jackson and Logan, attend the most expensive private school in our county. She posts Instagram photos from spa weekends and designer shopping sprees while simultaneously texting me about being a little short on rent. "It's just until Brian's next bonus," she would say. "You know how tight things get sometimes." And somehow, I always sent the money. $3,000 for rent here, $2,000 for the boys' summer camp there. Even after Jessica got sick, even when our medical bills were piling up, I kept helping. My parents weren't much different. Dad had early retirement 5 years ago, and their planning hadn't been as thorough as they'd assumed. When they needed a new roof, I paid for it. When Mom needed dental surgery not covered by insurance, I wrote the check. They never asked how I was managing, they just assumed I would handle it. Their favoritism toward Amanda was always obvious, even when we were kids. She was the baby of the family, the free spirit who needed protection and support. I was the reliable one who would be fine no matter what. After Jessica died, they visited exactly twice during that first month. They were always so busy with Amanda's boys or their own social commitments. While Tyler and I were figuring out how to function as a grieving family of 2, I continued supporting everyone else. I paid Amanda's rent 6 times in the 3 years since Jessica's death. I covered private school tuition for the twins when Brian and Amanda were restructuring their finances. I helped my parents with medical bills, home repairs, and even a luxury cruise for their 40th anniversary. All told, I'd given my family over $175,000 in the 3 years since becoming a widower. Never once did anyone offer to help with Tyler. Never once did they suggest I might need support too. Baseball became Tyler's lifeline about a year after we lost Jessica. I noticed him watching games on TV, asking questions about the players, the rules, One day, I found him in the backyard, throwing a tennis ball against the fence and trying to hit it with a plastic bat we had in the garage. "Daddy," he said with more enthusiasm than I'd seen in months, "can you teach me how to play baseball like those guys on TV?" I'm no athlete, but for Tyler, I became one. We practiced every evening after I finished work. We watched tutorials online. I bought proper equipment, and we spent weekends at the local park's baseball diamond. Tyler's natural ability surprised me. He had coordination and focus beyond his years. When sign-ups for Little League came around, Tyler begged to join. The light in his eyes when I said yes, that was the moment I felt we might actually be okay someday. "Can we tell Grandma and Grandpa?" Tyler asked, bouncing on his toes. "And Aunt Amanda and the twins? They can all come watch me play." "Of course, buddy," I promised. "Everyone will be there for your first game. I'll make sure of it." Tyler talked about nothing else for weeks. Every night at dinner, he would speculate about which position he might play, whether his cousins would be impressed with his skills, if Grandma would bring those special cookies she made for the twins' school events. I called my parents and sister, giving them 6 weeks' notice about the game. "This is really important to Tyler," I emphasized. "It would mean the world to him if you all came." They all promised they would be there. My mother even suggested I should order special t-shirts for everyone. "Tyler would love if we all matched," she said. "You should do that, Daryl. It would be so cute for pictures." So I did. $560 for customized jerseys with Tyler's team name and number, plus another $300 for the team banner, ensuring Tyler's name was prominently displayed. All the while, I kept thinking how this would be a turning point for our family finally coming together for Tyler when he needed them most. Game day dawned bright and clear, a perfect Saturday in May. I woke up at 5:30, too excited and anxious to sleep any longer. The game wasn't until 10, but there was so much to prepare. I wanted everything to be perfect for Tyler's big moment. I found him already awake when I went to check on him, sitting on his bed in his pajamas, his baseball glove in his lap. "Today's the day, Dad," he said, his voice quivering with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. "Do you think I'll hit the ball? What if I miss?" I sat beside him, putting my arm around his small shoulders. "You've practiced so hard, buddy. But remember what we talked about. It's not about being perfect. It's about trying your best and having fun." "Will everyone really be there?" he asked for probably the 100th time that week. Grandma and Grandpa and Aunt Amanda and the twins, they promised they would be, I reassured him, ignoring the knot forming in my stomach. No one had confirmed in the last few days despite my reminder texts. After breakfast, Tyler insisted on going to the backyard for just a few more practice swings. I watched through the kitchen window as he meticulously set up his tee, adjusted his stance the way we'd practiced, and swung with focused determination. My heart swelled with pride and a touch of sadness. Jessica should have been here to see this. While Tyler practiced, I packed the cooler with drinks and snacks, not just for us, but for everyone. I'd prepared Jessica's famous homemade pretzels, Tyler's favorite, and something my parents always raved about. I made special allergen-free treats for Logan, who had several food sensitivities. I packed my mother's preferred sparkling water and my father's favorite beer. Amanda's special diet requirements were accommodated with gluten-free, organic options. Next came the chairs. I loaded 7 folding chairs into the SUV, one for each family member plus a couple extra in case any of the twins' friends joined. I packed sunscreen, bug spray, umbrellas for shade, and a small portable fan for my mother, who always complained about the heat. The jerseys were my special surprise. I'd ordered them weeks ago, custom baseball jerseys with Tyler's team printed on the front and his number, 7, on the back. They had arrived yesterday, and I'd stayed up late wrapping each one individually with name tags. Grandma, Grandpa, Aunt Amanda, Uncle Brian, Jackson, Logan. I'd even gotten an extra small one for Amanda's new designer dog she was always posting about on social media. The banner had been another major expense. $300 for a vinyl banner that would hang on the field fence, Go Tyler #7, with a special design incorporating his team logo. The league coordinator had assured me it would be prominently displayed. As I loaded everything into the car, My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. "What time is the thing today again?" My stomach tightened. I'd sent a detailed email with all the information 2 days ago and a reminder text last night. Game starts at 10. We should get there by 9:30 for warm-ups. Tyler is so excited to see everyone. We'll have chairs set up for you all. 3 dots appeared, disappeared then. Okay, we'll try to make it. Try? They had promised they would be there. This wasn't optional, this was Tyler's first game, a milestone moment. Another text came in, this time from Amanda. Logan woke up with a bit of a sniffle. "Hope we can still come. Save us seats just in case." I took a deep breath, pushed down the rising anxiety, and went back inside where Tyler was now in full uniform, practicing his batting stance in front of the hallway mirror. "Ready to go, superstar?" I asked, forcing enthusiasm into my voice. "Ready," Tyler beamed, grabbing his baseball bag. "Did Grandma text? Are they on their way?" "Everyone knows what time to be there," I answered carefully. "They're looking forward to it." The drive to the baseball field was filled with Tyler's excited chatter. He talked about how his cousins would finally see him play, how his grandparents would be proud of him, how maybe this would become a family tradition. "Do you think we could all go for ice cream after the game?" he asked. "Even if I don't hit any home runs?" "Absolutely," I promised. "Today is special no matter what happens in the game." As we pulled into the parking lot, I checked my phone again. No new messages. The field was already bustling with other families setting up chairs, kids in uniforms running around, coaches organizing equipment. "Let's set up our spot," I said, trying to sound upbeat. "We want to make sure everyone has a good view of the field." Tyler helped me carry the chairs to a prime location along the third base line. We set them up in a row, and he insisted on putting the wrapped jerseys on each seat, like reserved signs. "This one's for Grandma," he said, placing a package carefully on the first chair. "And this one's for Grandpa, and Aunt Amanda, and Uncle Brian, and Jackson, and Logan." He stood back, admiring the row of empty chairs with their wrapped presents. "It looks like a special VIP section," I told him, ruffling his hair. "Because they are VIPs," Tyler said solemnly. "They're our family." The coach called the team for warm-ups, and Tyler ran off with a backward glance and a wave. "Tell them where to find us when they get here, okay, Dad?" "I will, buddy," I promised, my heart already beginning to sink as I checked the time. 9:45, and still no sign of anyone. 9:55 came and went. Other families had arrived in full force, grandparents, aunts, uncles, siblings, all cheering and taking photos as the kids warmed up. Tyler kept glancing over at our row of empty chairs while fielding ground balls. I sent another group text. "Game starting in 5 minutes. We have seats saved for everyone. Tyler is warming up now and keeps looking for you all." No response from my parents. Amanda replied with, "Having an emergency with the twins' outfits. We'll try to make it for second half of game. Save those seats." The national anthem played. The players lined up. Tyler stood tall in his uniform, but I could see him scanning the crowd, his eyes returning again and again to those empty chairs with wrapped packages still sitting on them. The game began. Tyler was playing second base in the first inning, his position held with determination despite his obvious distraction. Every time another family arrived at the stands, his head would turn hopefully, only to drop again when it wasn't his grandparents or aunt. The opposing team was up to bat first. The first ball came right to Tyler, a perfect ground ball. He fielded it cleanly, but hesitated just a moment too long before throwing to first base. The runner was safe, and I could see Tyler's shoulders slump slightly. "It's okay, Tyler. Great stop," I shouted, trying to be loud enough to compensate for the missing family voices. Between innings, he ran over to me. "Are they on their way?" he asked, his voice small. "I'm sure they're trying to get here," I said, hating the uncertainty in my voice. "Your grandma texted earlier asking about the time. Maybe they're just running late," Tyler reasoned, clearly trying to convince himself. "The twins take a long time to get ready sometimes." "That's probably it, bud," I agreed, though I didn't believe it. "Now go show them what you can do when they arrive." Tyler nodded and ran back to his team, his determination visibly renewed. I checked my phone again. Nothing from my parents. A new text from Amanda. at the mall for emergency shopping trip with the boys. Traffic terrible. Save video of Tyler's hits for us. My blood began to boil, but I forced myself to stay calm. This was Tyler's day, and I wouldn't let my anger ruin it for him. The second inning began. Tyler was third up to bat. He practiced his swing in the on-deck circle, his eyes still darting to the entrance of the field between practice swings. When it was his turn, he stepped up to the plate, adjusted his helmet, and took his stance just as we'd practiced countless times in our backyard. The first pitch came in a perfect strike right down the middle. Tyler didn't swing. He was looking at the stands again. "Keep your eye on the ball, Tyler," I called out, fighting to keep my voice encouraging. The second pitch, another perfect one. This time Tyler swung but late and missed. "You've got this, buddy," I shouted, acutely aware that mine was the only family voice cheering for him. The third pitch came in, and Tyler connected, but weakly. The ball dribbled toward the pitcher, who easily fielded it and threw to first for the out. As Tyler jogged back to the dugout, his disappointment was palpable. The coach put an encouraging hand on his shoulder, but Tyler's eyes were on those empty chairs, the unwrapped jerseys still sitting where he had placed them. By the fourth inning, I could see other parents noticing our situation. A mother sitting nearby leaned over. "Are those seats saved for someone?" she asked kindly. "My family," I said stiffly. "They're supposed to be coming for my son's first game." She nodded sympathetically and didn't ask any further questions. The coach's wife, Sarah, came to sit beside me for an inning. "Tyler's doing great for his first game," she offered. "He's got real potential." "Thanks," I replied, grateful for the kindness but aware that Tyler's performance was suffering with each passing inning as he realized no one was coming. By the sixth inning, my phone had remained silent except for a brief text from Amanda with a photo of the twins trying on new soccer cleats at the sports store. The boys needed these for practice next week. "How's the game going?" I didn't respond. I couldn't trust myself to be civil. Tyler's team was losing 6-4. He had missed another ground ball, his mind clearly not on the game. When he came up to bat for the third time, the coach gave him a pep talk before he stepped up to the plate. Whatever the coach said seemed to work at least temporarily. Tyler connected solidly with the first pitch, sending a line drive into left field. The crowd cheered as he ran to first base, his first hit of the game. Standing on first base, Tyler immediately looked to the stands, his face lighting up with the achievement, and then falling as he saw the still empty chairs where his family should have been. My heart broke watching him try to maintain his composure, to focus on the game while processing that deep disappointment. No 8-year-old should have to be that strong. The game ended with Tyler's team losing 7-5. The kids lined up to high-five the opposing team, and parents gathered to congratulate both teams on a good game. The coach gathered everyone for a team meeting, praising their efforts and highlighting individual achievements, including Tyler's hit. "Great job on that line drive, Tyler," he said. "That was solid contact." Tyler nodded but didn't smile. The other kids were absorbed in the post-game snacks while parents took photos and offered congratulations. I approached Tyler with his water bottle. "You did awesome, buddy. That hit was fantastic." "Where are they?" he finally asked, his voice cracking. "Why didn't they come? Did I do something wrong?" "No, absolutely not," I said firmly, kneeling down to his level. "You did nothing wrong. They just couldn't make it today." "But it was my first game," Tyler whispered, fighting back tears. They promised. I had no good answer for him, no explanation that wouldn't hurt him more. The coach came over, sensing the situation. "Hey Tyler, would you mind helping me pack up the equipment? I could really use a responsible assistant." Tyler nodded, clearly grateful for the distraction and the chance to compose himself away from the other celebrating families. While Tyler helped the coach, I gathered our things, the cooler of untouched special snacks, the 7 empty chairs, and the wrapped jerseys that had sat unclaimed throughout the game. By the time we were ready to leave, Tyler had regained his composure, though the light had gone out of his eyes. The drive home was quiet, the celebratory ice cream forgotten. Finally, as we turned onto our street, Tyler asked the question I had been dreading. "Dad," he said in a small voice, Does our family not love us anymore? Is it because of what happened to Mom? That question, does our family not love us anymore, hung in the air of our SUV like a physical thing, heavy and suffocating. How do you answer when your child asks if they're unloved? How do you explain selfishness and indifference to an 8-year-old who deserves so much better? Tyler, I began carefully, pulling into our driveway and turning off the engine. Our family loves us in their own way. But sometimes people get so caught up in their own lives that they forget what's important. Like my baseball game, Tyler said quietly. Like your baseball game, I agreed, my throat tight. And that's not okay. It's not fair to you. But I want you to know that it has nothing to do with you or anything you did. You are amazing, and anyone who doesn't see that is missing out. We went inside, and I suggested Tyler's favorite dinner, homemade pizza with extra cheese, hoping to salvage something of this important day. While the pizza dough was rising, Tyler sat at the kitchen counter, idly spinning his baseball on its axis. "Can we watch a movie tonight?" he asked, his voice small but determined to move forward. "Absolutely," I said. "You pick, whatever you want." We ate pizza and watched Tyler's favorite superhero movie, but I could tell his heart wasn't in it. He was quieter than usual, and he went to bed early, saying he was tired from the game. After tucking him in and making sure he was asleep, I finally allowed my controlled composure to crack. The anger I'd been suppressing all day surged through me like electricity. I paced the living room, hands clenched, thinking of Tyler's face as he repeatedly looked for his family in those empty seats. I pulled out my phone, intending to send some choice words to my sister and parents, but something stopped me. Instead, I opened social media, curious if there had been some actual emergency I wasn't aware of. What I found made my blood boil. Amanda had posted a series of Instagram stories throughout the day, starting at precisely 9:30 this morning, when we were setting up chairs for them at the baseball field. The first post showed her, my parents, and the twins entering an exclusive spa resort. Emergency self-care day. The boys needed some relaxation before their big soccer tournament next weekend. So grateful for Mom and Dad joining us for family bonding time. Number blessed. Number family first. Family first. The irony was staggering. More posts followed my mother getting a facial, my father in the resort restaurant, the twins splashing in the indoor pool, all timestamped during Tyler's baseball game. All smiling, relaxed, enjoying their day together. No emergency, no traffic, no last-minute complications. Just a deliberate choice to do something else, something more appealing than watching an 8-year-old play his first baseball game. I set my phone down, hands shaking. This wasn't a one-time lapse in judgment. This was the culmination of years of imbalance, years of taking without giving back, years of treating Tyler and me as afterthoughts. I walked to my home office and pulled out my financial records. With systematic precision, I began documenting every dollar I had given my family over the past 3 years. The totals were staggering. Amanda's rent, $36,000 over 6 instances. Twins' private school tuition, $42,000. Parents' medical expenses not covered by insurance, $23,000. Home repairs for my parents, $17,000. Luxury anniversary cruise for my parents, $12,000. Amanda's car payments when she was between jobs, $14,500. Countless smaller loans that were never repaid, approximately $30,000. The total, $174,500 since Jessica died. While Tyler and I were grieving, while I was working extra projects to maintain our standard of living, while trying to be both mother and father to a heartbroken little boy. And today, they couldn't even show up for a 2-hour baseball game that meant everything to Tyler. I stayed up late, reviewing bank statements and setting up spreadsheets. I wasn't just angry, I was resolved. Something needed to change, not just for my financial well-being, but for Tyler's emotional health and mine. Before going to bed, I checked on Tyler one more time. He had kicked off his covers as usual, and his baseball glove was clutched tightly against his chest like a stuffed animal. His face, peaceful in sleep, showed none of the disappointment that had marked it throughout the day. "I'll fix this, buddy," I whispered, adjusting his blanket. I promise. The week following the baseball game, Tyler and I fell back into our routine. School, work, homework, dinner. But I made special efforts to focus completely on him during our time together. We practiced baseball every evening in the backyard. We built a model rocket on Wednesday night. We started planning a camping trip for the following month. Not once did Tyler ask about his grandparents or aunt and cousins. Not once did he mention the absence at his game. But I noticed he stopped asking if we could invite them for dinner or to watch movies with us, something he used to suggest regularly. My family, for their part, never acknowledged missing the game. No apology texts, no calls to speak with Tyler, nothing. Until Thursday evening, exactly 6 days after the baseball game. Tyler was finishing his homework at the kitchen table when my phone buzzed with a text from Amanda. I expected perhaps a belated apology, or at least an acknowledgement of what had happened. Instead, I got, "Don't forget Jackson and Logan's birthday party next Saturday. We're having it at Adventure Zone, they're so excited. Need your deposit of $2,000 by tomorrow to secure the booking. They're expecting 30 kids plus family. Don't be late, you know how the twins get when things don't go perfectly. Send the money to my account. Thanks. No please. No acknowledgement of missing Tyler's game. Not even a how are you. Just an assumption. A demand that I would pay for her children's extravagant party without question." I stared at the message for a full minute, letting the audacity sink in. $2,000 for a deposit, which meant the total cost would be far higher. After they had all skipped Tyler's milestone event without a second thought. "Dad, are you okay?" Tyler asked, looking up from his math worksheet. "You look really mad." I forced a smile. "I'm fine, buddy. Just a work thing." I didn't want to burden him with adult problems. But as I helped Tyler finish his homework, made dinner, and went through our evening routine, my mind kept returning to that text message and what it represented. The unbalanced relationships, the one-way giving, the disregard for Tyler's feelings. After Tyler was in bed, I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee and had an honest conversation with myself about what healthy boundaries should look like. What was I teaching Tyler by continuing to fund my family members while they showed so little regard for him? What message was he receiving about his worth, about how people should treat each other, about what family means? I thought about the look on his face when he realized no one was coming to his game. I remembered how he had asked if our family didn't love us anymore. The decision, when it came, felt less like a choice and more like an inevitability, the only path forward that honored both Tyler and myself. The next morning, I took a personal day from work and visited 3 different banks. I closed the joint account I had set up to help my parents with expenses. I canceled the automatic transfers to Amanda's account that had been paying portions of the twins' tuition. I removed myself as an authorized user on Amanda's credit card, which I had been subsidizing for years. Each transaction was accompanied by paperwork, signatures, final statements. By noon, I had completed the financial separation. No more open accounts, no more automatic payments, no more access to my resources. When I returned home, Amanda had sent 2 more texts. "Did you get my message about the deposit? Need it today." And an hour later, "Hello. The venue needs payment by 3, or they'll give our date away. The twins will be devastated." I didn't immediately respond. Instead, I made myself lunch and thought carefully about what to say. I didn't want to act from anger. I wanted my decision to come from a place of self-respect and reasonable boundaries. Finally, at 2:30, I took a screenshot of all the closed account confirmations and sent it to Amanda with a simple message. "I won't be paying for the party. All accounts I've been funding are now closed. I wish the twins a happy birthday." The response was immediate and explosive. My phone began buzzing with incoming texts, each more outraged than the last. "What? You can't do this to us. The party is next week. What am I supposed to tell the twins? This is so selfish of you. You're punishing children for adult issues. Mom and Dad are furious. Call them right now." I muted the notifications and set my phone aside. For the first time in years, I felt a sense of peace about my relationship with my family. The boundaries had been long overdue. When Tyler got home from school, we had an honest, age-appropriate conversation about relationships and respect. Not about the specific financial details, but about the importance of reciprocity in healthy relationships. Sometimes, I explained, we have to take a step back from people who aren't treating us with respect, even if they're family. It doesn't mean we don't love them. It means we're teaching them how to treat us better. Tyler listened thoughtfully, then asked, "Is this about Grandma and Grandpa and Aunt Amanda not coming to my game?" "Partly," I admitted. "That was one example of not showing respect for what's important to us." Tyler nodded, processing this. "So what happens now?" "Now we focus on the people who do show up for us," I said. "Like your coach and your teammates and the parents who cheered for you, even though they weren't related to you. And you, Dad," Tyler added. "You always show up." "Always," I promised, pulling him into a hug. "That's never going to change." That evening, we ordered takeout and played board games, my phone remaining off and tucked away in a drawer. Whatever storm was brewing in my family's group chats could wait until morning. The next morning, I woke up to 59 missed calls. 32 from Amanda, 21 from my mother, 6 from my father. Even Brian, Amanda's husband, who rarely communicated with me directly, had called twice. The voicemails ranged from crying, Amanda, to stern lecture, my father, to guilt-tripping, my mother. But it was my mother's final message, left at 11:23 the previous night, that caught my attention. "Daryl," she said, her voice trembling with what sounded like genuine emotion, "I don't understand what's happening. Amanda says you've cut us all off financially. She says you've closed all the accounts without warning. You're destroying this family, Daryl. Call me back immediately. We need to talk about what you're doing to all of us." What I was doing to them. Not what they had done to Tyler. Not what they had been doing to us for years. In her mind, I was the destroyer, not the one who had been taken advantage of. I texted my mother, "I'll come by at noon to talk. Just me, not Tyler." Her response was immediate. "We'll be waiting. Amanda and the boys are already here." Of course they were. A united front against the family traitor. I spent the morning with Tyler, taking him to his Saturday morning baseball practice. His coach, Mike, pulled me aside while the kids were warming up. "How's he doing after last weekend?" Mike asked, genuine concern in his voice. I could see he was pretty disappointed when his family didn't show. "He's resilient," I replied, grateful for his awareness. "But it hit him hard." Mike nodded. "Well, he's got a good arm and a lot of potential, and you're doing a great job with him. Not all these kids have dads who practice with them like you do." His simple acknowledgement brought an unexpected lump to my throat. "Thanks. That means a lot." After practice, I dropped Tyler at his friend Ethan's house for a playdate. I'd arranged it the previous day, knowing I might need space for the confrontation with my family. "Have fun with Ethan," I told him, helping him gather his backpack. "I'll pick you up at 3, and maybe we can get ice cream on the way home." "The ice cream we were supposed to get after my game?" Tyler asked innocently. "Exactly that ice cream," I confirmed, just a little delayed. Driving to my parents' house, I felt surprisingly calm. The decision had been made. The accounts were closed. All that remained was to explain my boundaries clearly and without anger. My parents' house was a sprawling ranch-style home in an upscale neighborhood, a home I had helped maintain with numerous financial contributions over the years. My mother's garden, which she showcased in her local garden club, had been landscaped with funds I provided as a gift 3 years ago. The new roof, the updated kitchen, the sunroom addition, all subsidized by me. As expected, every family member was present when I arrived. My mother opened the door, her expression a practiced mixture of concern and disappointment. My father sat in his recliner, maintaining what he thought was a dignified silence. Amanda paced the living room, the twins playing games on tablets in the corner, oblivious to the family drama. "Daryl," my mother began as soon as I sat down, "we need to understand what's going on. Amanda tells us you've closed all the accounts without any warning. That's not like you." "It's not without warning," I corrected calmly. "It's without your permission. There's a difference." Amanda stopped pacing long enough to glare at me. "The venue canceled our reservation this morning. The twins' birthday is ruined, and it's your fault. I'm sorry the twins will be disappointed, I said sincerely, because I was. The boys were innocent in this situation, but I'm no longer in a position to fund family events. What does that mean, no longer in a position? My father finally spoke. Did you lose your job? Are you in some kind of trouble? No trouble, I assured him. I've simply decided to redirect my resources toward Tyler's future and our needs. This is about the baseball game, isn't it? Amanda scoffed. You're punishing all of us because we missed one silly little game? And there it was, the dismissal that crystallized everything. That silly little game was a milestone moment for an 8-year-old boy who lost his mother 3 years ago, I said, my voice steady but firm. A boy who has watched me support this family financially and emotionally, while receiving virtually nothing in return. A boy who spent a week excited about his family coming to watch him play, only to sit through an entire game with empty chairs where you all should have been. We had a prior commitment, my mother interjected defensively. A spa day, I corrected. I saw Amanda's Instagram posts. All of you, together, doing something fun while Tyler kept looking for you in the stands. My mother at least had the grace to look embarrassed. Amanda did not. We can't organize our lives around Tyler's activities, she said dismissively. The boys have their own schedules too, you know. I'm well aware, I replied. I've paid for most of their activities for the past 3 years. That silenced the room momentarily. My father cleared his throat. Look, Daryl, if you're feeling unappreciated, we can discuss that. But cutting off financial support for your family without warning is extreme. Is it? I asked, pulling out the folder I'd brought with me. I've documented every dollar I've given this family since Jessica died. The total is $174,500. That doesn't include gifts, dinners I've paid for, or smaller expenses I didn't record. I laid out the spreadsheets on the coffee table. No one moved to look at them. During that same period, I continued, not one of you has offered to help with Tyler. Not one of you has suggested I might need support too. Not one of you has acknowledged that I was grieving while taking care of a grieving child. That's not fair, my mother protested weakly. We've always been there for you. When? I challenged. Name one time in the past 3 years when you've put Tyler's needs or mine ahead of your own convenience. The silence was deafening. I'm not angry, I said, and I realized it was true. I'm just done. Done being the family ATM. Done watching Tyler get his hopes up only to be disappointed. Done with the one-way relationship. So what now? Amanda demanded. You're just cutting us off completely? Over one missed baseball game? Not over one game, I clarified. Over 3 years of imbalance. And I'm not cutting you off as family, I'm establishing financial boundaries. There's a difference. The boy's birthday party is next weekend, Amanda cried, tears starting. What am I supposed to do? What most parents do, I suggested. Have a party you can afford. My father stood up, his face flushed with anger. You're punishing the entire family because you feel underappreciated. That's childish, Daryl. I remained seated, calm in the face of his anger. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm simply redirecting my resources toward my son's future and our needs. If that feels like punishment to you, maybe that's worth reflecting on. My mother tried a different approach. Daryl, dear, we're family. Families help each other. Your sister needs your support right now. Tyler needed your support last weekend, I countered. Where was the family obligation then? No one had an answer for that. I stood up, gathering the untouched financial documents. I love you all. That hasn't changed. But our relationship needs to change. Tyler deserves better than to be an afterthought in his own family. And honestly, so do I. So that's it? Amanda asked, tears streaming down her face. You're just walking away? No, I clarified. I'm walking forward, with healthier boundaries. You're all welcome to be part of our lives, but on more equal terms. As I headed for the door, my mother called after me. What about the twins' birthday? Are you at least coming to that? I turned back. I'll bring Tyler if he wants to come, and I'll bring appropriate gifts from us. But I won't be funding it. This isn't over, Daryl, my father warned. You're right, I agreed. It's just beginning. But how it develops from here is up to all of us. I walked out to my car, feeling lighter than I had in years. The confrontation had been necessary, and while painful, it had been calm and clear. I hadn't acted from anger. I had simply stated my boundaries and stuck to them. As promised, I picked up Tyler from his friend's house and took him for ice cream. As he happily devoured a double scoop of chocolate chip, he asked, "Did you have a good day, Dad?" "I did," I said, realizing it was true despite the difficult conversation. "I made some important decisions that will be good for us." "Like what?" he asked. Ice cream smudged on his chin. "Like focusing more on what makes us happy," I told him, handing him a napkin, "and spending time with people who really care about us." Tyler nodded sagely, as if this made perfect sense to him. "Like ice cream with you. That makes me happy." "Me too, buddy," I agreed. "Me too." The weeks following my confrontation with my family were challenging but clarifying. Amanda continued sending angry texts for several days, alternating between guilt trips, accusations, and thinly veiled threats about ruining family relationships forever. My parents called less frequently, but left voicemails expressing their disappointment in my selfish decision. Tyler, perceptive as always, noticed the change in routine. No more Sunday dinners at Grandma and Grandpa's house. No more cousins coming over for movie nights. "Are Grandma and Grandpa mad at us?" he asked one evening, as we played catch in the backyard. I chose my words carefully. "They're upset about some changes I've made. But it's not about you, Tyler. It's about grown-up stuff." "Is it because they didn't come to my baseball game?" "Kids have a way of cutting straight to the heart of matters." "That's part of it," I admitted. "I felt that wasn't fair to you, and it made me realize some things about our family that needed to change." Tyler was quiet for a moment, tossing the ball from one hand to the other. "I miss them sometimes," he said finally. "But I was really sad when they didn't come to my game after they promised." "I understand," I told him. "It's okay to miss them and still feel hurt by what happened. Feelings can be complicated like that." Tyler nodded thoughtfully. "Can we invite them to my next game? Maybe they'll come this time." His willingness to give them another chance touched me deeply. "If you want to invite them, we can. But I want you to be prepared that they might not come again, and that's not because of anything wrong with you." "I know," he said with a maturity beyond his years. "It's because grown-ups sometimes don't keep their promises even when they should." "Unfortunately, that's true sometimes," I agreed, marveling at his insight. We continued our practice in comfortable silence, the rhythm of catch providing a soothing backdrop to our conversation about difficult truths. As the Little League season progressed, Tyler's skills improved remarkably. Coach Mike took a special interest in him, offering extra practice sessions and genuine encouragement. Other parents on the team began inviting us to pre-game breakfasts and post-game celebrations. A community was forming around us, one based on showing up and supporting each other consistently. Sarah, the coach's wife, introduced me to other single parents on the team, creating a small support network where we could share resources and occasionally watch each other's kids. For the first time since Jessica died, I felt like we were part of something bigger than just our little family of two. Tyler's second-grade teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, noticed the positive change in his demeanor at school. "Tyler seems more confident these past few weeks," she told me during a parent-teacher conference. "He's participating more in class discussions and he's made some new friends. He's found something he loves in baseball," I explained. "And some people who believe in him. That makes all the difference," she agreed. "Children thrive when they have consistent support and clear boundaries." Clear boundaries. The words resonated with me, affirming the difficult decisions I'd made. My family's reactions evolved over time. The angry texts from Amanda gradually subsided, replaced by occasional photos of the twins with captions like, "Their uncle might like to see this." My parents called less frequently but with more respectful tones when they did. The twins' birthday party happened on a much smaller scale than originally planned, a backyard barbecue rather than the extravagant venue event. I took Tyler, and we brought thoughtful but modestly priced gifts. The atmosphere was tense at times, but civil. The boys were delighted with our presence and the Lego sets we'd chosen specifically based on their interests. As the second half of the baseball season approached, Tyler's team was doing well enough to potentially make the playoffs. His improvement was noticeable both in skills and in confidence. The night before his next game, he asked me a question that caught me by surprise. "Dad, is it okay if we don't invite Grandma and Grandpa to tomorrow's game? I kind of just want it to be you and maybe Coach Mike's family and my friends from the team." I studied his face, looking for signs of hurt or resentment, but found only calm certainty. "Of course that's okay," I assured him. "It's your game. You get to decide who you want there." "I don't want to worry about empty chairs," he explained simply. "I want to focus on baseball." The wisdom in his words struck me deeply. Out of the painful experience had come clarity for both of us. The morning of the game, as we were loading the car with our usual gear, a familiar car pulled into our driveway. My Uncle Frank, my father's older brother who had largely distanced himself from the family years ago after some disagreement I never fully understood, stepped out. "Uncle Frank?" I said in surprise. I hadn't seen him in at least 5 years. "What brings you here?" Uncle Frank, now in his 70s with a full white beard and kind eyes, approached with a slight smile. "Got a call from your father yesterday," he explained. "First time in years. He mentioned something about his grandson having a baseball game today, and how he wasn't welcome there because of some family tension. Wanted to know if I thought he should just show up anyway." I stiffened. "And what did you tell him?" "Told him to respect boundaries for once in his life," Frank chuckled. "But it got me thinking. I've missed out on knowing my great-nephew here. Thought maybe, if it's okay with you both, I might come watch this young man play some baseball today." Tyler, who had been standing slightly behind me, stepped forward with curiosity. "You're my great-uncle?" Frank nodded. "Sure am. And from what I hear, you've got quite an arm on you." Tyler beamed. "I play second base, and sometimes I pitch." "Well now, that's impressive," Frank said with genuine interest. "I played some ball in my day too. Nothing serious, just local leagues, but I loved the game." I watched this interaction with amazement. Uncle Frank had always been the family outsider, the one who caused problems according to my parents. Now I wondered if perhaps he had simply established boundaries they refused to respect, just as I was doing. "We'd love to have you at the game," I told him. "If you don't mind folding chairs and concession stand hot dogs." "Sounds perfect to me," Frank replied. That game was Tyler's best yet. He played with focused determination, making 2 crucial plays at second base and getting a solid hit that drove in 2 runs. Our cheering section, Uncle Frank, Coach Mike and his family, and several team parents who had become friends erupted in applause. When the team won 8-6, securing their spot in the playoffs, Tyler ran straight to where we were sitting, his face flushed with excitement. "Did you see that, Dad? Did you see my hit?" "I sure did, buddy," I exclaimed, high-fiving him. "That was amazing." Uncle Frank offered his congratulations too, speaking to Tyler with the kind of genuine interest and respect that children so rarely receive from adults. After the game, he joined us and several other families for pizza, fitting into our new community as if he'd always been part of it. As we were saying goodbye in the parking lot, Frank pulled me aside. "Your father wasn't always like this, you know," he said quietly. "Something changed when he married your mother and had your sister. Suddenly appearance became everything, status. What other people thought. Is that why you two fell out?" I asked. Frank nodded. "I refused to play the game. Refused to pretend everything was perfect when it wasn't. Your grandmother was dying, and your father was more concerned about what to tell the neighbors than about spending time with her. The parallel to my own situation wasn't lost on me. I'm proud of you, Daryl," Frank continued. "Standing up for your boy like this, setting boundaries. It's not easy in this family." "No," I agreed. "It isn't." "Well," he said, clapping me on the shoulder, "you've got family right here who shows up. Me, for one, if you'll have me. And all these good people." He gestured toward the team families, still chatting in the restaurant. "We'd like that," I told him sincerely. Over the following weeks, Uncle Frank became a regular presence at Tyler's games and often joined us for dinner afterward. He shared stories about my father's childhood, helping me understand the family dynamics from a different perspective. Tyler adored him, soaking up baseball tips and the kind of grandfatherly attention he'd been missing. The Little League playoffs arrived, and Tyler's team made it to the championship game. The night before, I received an unexpected email from my sister. "Daryl, I've been doing a lot of thinking about what happened. I wasn't fair to you or to Tyler. The twins keep asking about their cousin, and I've had to explain why we don't see you as much anymore. It's made me look at things differently. I understand if you don't want us at tomorrow's game, but we'd like to be there, no expectations, just to support Tyler. Let me know. Amanda." I showed the email to Tyler and asked what he thought. "Do you want them to come?" I asked, making it clear the decision was his. He thought about it seriously. "I think it's okay if they come, but I'm not going to worry about whether they show up or not. I'm just going to play baseball." "That sounds like a really healthy approach," I told him, proud of his maturity. I replied to Amanda's email. "Game is at 10. Tyler says you're welcome to come. No hard feelings either way." The championship game dawned bright and clear. Tyler was nervous but excited, practicing his swing in the living room before breakfast. "Ready for the big day, champ?" I asked. "Ready," he confirmed with determination. "Coach Mike says just play like it's any other game." "That's good advice," I agreed. We arrived at the field early. Uncle Frank was already there, helping the coaches set up equipment. Our regular cheering section of team families was forming, saving spots for each other and sharing coffee from thermoses. As game time approached, I noticed Amanda's SUV pulling into the parking lot. She emerged with the twins, followed by my parents. They approached hesitantly, clearly unsure of their welcome. Tyler spotted them and waved, but then immediately turned his attention back to his warm-up drills, perfectly demonstrating his new priority: baseball first, family drama distant second. Amanda approached me first. "Thanks for letting us come," she said quietly. "Tyler made the decision," I told her honestly. "He's learning to set his own boundaries." She nodded, accepting this without argument, a first in our relationship. My parents were more reserved, offering awkward greetings before finding seats somewhat separated from our main group. Uncle Frank acknowledged them with a polite nod, but made no move to join them. The game was intense and close. Tyler played with focused determination, making a spectacular diving catch in the fourth inning that had everyone on their feet cheering, including my parents and sister. When the final out was recorded, Tyler's team had won by a single run. The players erupted in celebration, piling onto the field in a mass of excited young energy. Parents rushed to congratulate them, snapping photos and offering high fives. I hung back slightly, wanting Tyler to have his moment with his teammates. To my surprise, Amanda approached, the twins in tow. "Tyler was amazing," she said sincerely. "We've really missed a lot, haven't we?" "You have," I agreed, not unkindly. But today was a good start. The twins congratulated their cousin enthusiastically when he finally made his way to us, proudly wearing his championship medal. "That catch was a Wesem," Jackson exclaimed. "Yeah, you were like a professional player," Logan added. Tyler beamed at their praise, accepting it with the grace of someone who no longer desperately needed their approval, but could still appreciate it. My parents approached more cautiously, offering their congratulations to Tyler, who accepted them with a polite "thank you" before running off to join his teammates for the trophy presentation. "He's really good," my father said, watching Tyler go. "I had no idea." "There's a lot you've missed," I replied simply. My mother touched my arm tentatively. "We'd like to try to fix things, Daryl, if you're willing." I considered this. "I'm open to rebuilding our relationship," I said carefully. "But it needs to be different than before, more balanced, more respectful of boundaries, and more focused on Tyler's needs." She nodded, tears in her eyes. "We understand that now. It took losing you both to realize what we had." "We're not lost," I corrected gently. "We've just found our own path. You're welcome to join us on it, but we're not turning back." The post-game celebration extended to a nearby park with a picnic area. Uncle Frank had arranged for food to be delivered his treat. He insisted, and our extended community of team families gathered to celebrate. My family integrated somewhat awkwardly at first, but the twins' excitement and the general festive atmosphere helped ease the tension. Tyler moved confidently among his teammates and friends, occasionally checking in with me but clearly comfortable in this supportive environment. As the celebration wound down, Tyler and I walked to our car, tired but happy. He was clutching his trophy and medal, his uniform streaked with dirt from his diving catch. "Dad," he said as we reached the car, "today was perfect." "It really was, buddy," I agreed, ruffling his hair. "And you know what?" he continued thoughtfully. "I'm glad Grandma and Grandpa and Aunt Amanda came, but I would have been okay if they didn't. That's called inner strength," I told him. "Being happy when good things happen, but not depending on them to be okay." Tyler nodded, processing this. Like how we practice baseball even when it's just us, and how we found new friends at Little League when our other family wasn't there. Exactly like that, I confirmed. As we drove home, Tyler dozed in the passenger seat, trophy clutched to his chest, baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. I glanced at him and felt a surge of pride and love so intense it brought tears to my eyes. We had weathered a painful betrayal and emerged stronger. We had established healthy boundaries and built a supportive community. We had learned what family truly means, not just blood relations, but the people who show up consistently, who respect your worth, who celebrate your victories, and comfort you in defeat. The road ahead with my parents and sister wouldn't be easy. Trust, once broken, takes time to rebuild. But today had been a start, a tentative first step toward a new kind of relationship based on mutual respect rather than financial dependency. More importantly, Tyler had learned valuable lessons about self-worth and resilience that would serve him throughout his life. He had discovered that disappointment, while painful, need not define him, that his value wasn't determined by who showed up in the stands, but by the strength he found within himself and the genuine connections he built with others who truly cared. As I pulled into our driveway, I gently woke Tyler. "We're home, champ." He blinked sleepily, clutching his trophy. "Best day ever, Dad. One of many to come, I promised." Have you ever had to establish difficult boundaries with family members for your child's well-being? How did you handle explaining complex family dynamics to your kids? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments. Please like this video if Tyler's story resonated with you. Subscribe for more real-life parenting journeys, and share with someone who might need to hear this message about setting healthy boundaries. Thank you for being part of this supportive community. Remember, sometimes the family we choose is as important as the family we're born into.